We're all familiar with Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. But did you know he almost didn't say those infamous words? The day before the big speech, King and his advisors had gathered at the Willard Hotel to come up with a final draft. In his sermons, King usually stitched together various pieces from his repertoire on the fly. But this speech was different. It was a big occasion. It was the March on Washington, and he needed to make sure he got it just right. So he and his main writer, Clarence Jones, had drafted a passage saying how black Americans had been issued a bad check in the Constitution, and the United States needed to finally cash in its promissory note, they asserted. Now, Jones urged him to use an older piece with the phrasing, I have a dream too. But other advisors thought it might sound too trite, the I have a dream part. And they worried that because he was limited to 5 minutes, there wouldn't be time. And King was someone he wanted to respect the requested time limit, even though he'd be speaking last. Now, several hours went by during this meeting, and King finally said, okay, brothers, thank you so very much for your suggestions and input. I'm now going upstairs to my room to counsel with my Lord. And at 4 a.m, he gave his aides the final draft so they could share it among the press. Spanning 3 pages, the speech did not contain the words, I have a dream. The Reverend Martin Luther King Jr., when he was giving his speech, he was barreling toward the climax of his greatest speech when he made a split-second decision that would seal his place in history. Most people recall what the cameras caught, King declaring, I have a dream, before 250,000 jubilant supporters at the March on Washington during a muggy, sun-splashed summer day. But there was one crucial exchange that the cameras didn't catch. He'd intended to cap the speech by urging the audience to go back to our communities as members of the International Association for the Advancement of Creative Dissatisfaction. But in the moment, it didn't feel right, and he paused. And then Mahalia Jackson, the legendary gospel singer, called out, tell them about the dream, Martin. And he looked at her, and then he slid his written speech off to the side. And as his improvisational genius took over, he unleashed his I have a dream closing, which lasted just 2 minutes and 40 seconds, but would inspire generations to come. They were just 301 words, but they were the most moving words of the day. While we obviously don't all have Martin Luther King's oratory prowess, the lesson we can all take here is to stay in tune with our audience and trust ourselves in the moment. Great leaders intuitively read the room, knowing what their audience needs to hear. And that's exactly what Martin Luther King did in his I Have a Dream speech. He recognized that the words he'd prepared weren't what the audience needed to hear. And he instead delivered a speech that would go down in history.
So even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together.